So the last question on the test was about this interface RBox, and we had three choices. One given was that we're trying to check if which one of these interfaces, if implemented, gives you enough information where you can tell if one box fits in another box, right? And one box fits in another box if and only if, right? That was like the wording there. If and only if the height of the first one is less than the height of the second one, and, not or, right? And the width of the first one is less than the width of the second one, and the depth of the first one is less than the depth of the second one. So that's the given. And now which of these allows us to do that, right? Well, we look at the first one, and the first one is just a set of getters and setters. So the getters and setters get the width, the height, and the depth. And with that, we would be able to tell if this is true, because we would say if box 1 dot h get h is less than box 2 dot get h, right? And if box 1 dot get width is less than box 2 dot get width, and right, so this would be our if statement using these two getters and these two getters, just the getters, and you could tell if it fits, right? Yeah, and then we have the second option where we have smaller h, smaller w, smaller depth. These are all different methods that need to be implemented by the child class, and these would also let you know if this condition is true, because you would just say a dot smaller h, pass it b, and if that's true, and a dot smaller w, pass it b, and that's true, and a dot smaller depth, pass it b, and if all three of those are true, then this condition is satisfied, and we could tell if it's smaller. If it fits if A fits in B, right? Now we have this third option where you get surface and get volume, and so either one of these alone wouldn't tell you if a box can fit in another box, because we could have a box that looks like that, and then on the flip side we can have like a long box with the same volume that wouldn't fit in this, or smaller volume that wouldn't fit in that box. And then we have get surface area, which tells us about how much surface we have in these two boxes. And so the argument for this one here is that if you have both of these methods, because of how you calculate surface, right? So surface would be like width times depth plus width times height plus, right, and so on. So using both of them together, we would be able to tell if the first box would fit in the second box. And and the condition here would be if surface of A dot surface, is less than B dot surface, and A dot volume is less than B dot volume, right? And if both of those are true, then you know that the first one fits in the second one. And so that's not exactly, that argument doesn't stand on its own, because this can be true, right? So let's take two boxes, for example. This is what Tiffany brought up, Tiffany Ho. And so let's say in box A, we have a height, a width, and a depth, and the height is like 5, 5, and 5. And in box B, we have a height, a width, and a depth, and the box is 5, 5, 4.9, right? So this condition would be true because the surface area would be less in B. Oh, I'm sorry, I flipped this around. So this is A and this is B. The surface area would be less in A than it is in B. And so would the volume also be less here than it would be here. But these two boxes wouldn't fit in each other because the height is not less than the height, right? And the width is not less than the width. They're equal. But this depth is less than this depth. So that is why that's why it's argued that 3 is not the correct answer. And I say argued because some of these questions, I don't know, I don't have enough time to kind of mine that out, so I just go with the best current option, right? And that's the best current option. So if you have new thoughts on that, then let me know. But fairly certain the answer is D. Okay. And why do I know this? Because this problem was a actual problem on the AP exam a few years ago, and the people who write these questions, they go over them with a very fine-tooth comb, and the answers that they have are, I've never seen one incorrect. I've seen many that I thought were incorrect, but that later proved to be true, but I've never seen one that was proved to be incorrect. So they're gone over with a very fine-tooth comb. And yeah, so D, right? I think we can say case solved on that one.